we're going to go ahead and talk a little bit about some Linux software that we're using. I wanted to keep it a little bit light, nothing super heavy, especially since we're streaming this at an odd time and all that fun stuff. So also let me know if you're watching here. My desktop audio is peaking higher than it should when nobody's talking. I'm trying to figure out what in the world's going on with that. So let me check the comments here real quick in case somebody's telling me something. Let's see. I'm sharing this on Twitter X. There you go. Awesome. Thank you. Lizard of the Linux Lane. Kdenlive is easy to get. DaVinci Resolve is not free, but I've heard it is good. Yeah, it does seem pretty good. I think there is a free version of DaVinci Resolve. I don't think all of them are free is the difference. There's also OpenShot, which had come out since we're talking about the video editing type software. OpenShot just released a new version, first time since last year, 3.2. The big thing they put in right here is they have an ability to cut out the space between your clips. So if you're doing silence, between your clips, as I oftentimes do when I need to edit a video, it'll find those and get rid of them. Now, depending on your build, you may not want them to do that. I actually keep the points of silence so I can find it, because usually means I need to delete something before or after, whatever else. But they have that. Of course, OpenShot also works with Blender and allows you to do 3D text rendering with Blender. Although I've never gotten that to work, it's possible that I have tried it a little bit too early to connect to Blender. I think I tried it out like the first week the last version was out, so that might be the problem. Of course, I use Kdenlive to do editing, and there's other options out there as well. What's the best photo editing software for Linux? Anybody want to jump in with any ideas on that? I mean, I know
the only one I use is GIMP.
Yeah, so GIMP is like the Photoshop of Linux. It has the layer support. Pretty much everything you can do on Photoshop, you can do on GIMP there. Of course, it's a different workflow, so you need to learn how to do things a little bit different way. But if you're already proficient on Photoshop, becoming proficient on GIMP is not going to be a problem for you. There is also Krita has some overlap, although that one skews more towards the drawing and animation type stuff. So it's oftentimes used for drawing comics or things like that because it works better with the Wacom tablets and other drawing tablets. It respects your how hard you're depressing your pen on your tablet. So that's actually a neat option as well. And then there's a few other odds and ends as well. There's even the new Paint version, which, believe it or not, I can run GIMP all day long. I've not figured out how to do anything in that new Paint system they're shipping with Linux Mint, but that's me. What can I say? You guys have any luck with that thing? Let's see. Nice. You can watch this before you leave work. There you go. As long as you're not neglecting your duties. But hey,
Yeah, or watching while driving.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah. Don't do text on drive.
Yes, for those of us who are newcomers, thank you for coming, all newcomers. Nightwalker and other newcomers. Salbu is on right now. He is from Norway. Want to tell him a little bit about you, Salbu?
Yeah. So I'm a long-time packager, so I make the packages that is available in the package managers. So I'm packaging for Mageia, which is a fork of Mandriva, which existed 10 years ago.
You read about the time the crust hardened in Linux.
Yeah, so I know my way around packaging. But I am not a developer. I do not know how to write a single piece of code. So I'm something so rare as a developer who don't know how to do development.
Yeah, there you go. Right. And we got Ivan, who also is the one who cross-posts our social media. Thank you for that. And these two, of course, are the big ones with the band hammers. So be nice on my channels, or they might give you the hammer.
Yeah. I'm watching one person in particular right now. So
would that be the person giving us F-bombs in the Odyssey chat?
No.
Don't give us F-bombs in the Odyssey chat, folks.
No, it's over on the tubies. So
on the tubies.
Yes, Let's behave, guy. That would be much appreciated. Thank you very much.
What's going on? Wait, I'm not seeing any of this negative on the tubies yet. I don't know. Maybe I'm just not there yet. Anyway.
Not there yet.
Okay. Yeah. Maybe I'll probably chuckle and then feel bad about myself later on. Can tell me how to run my Linux. There you go. Gotta love overtime. There you go. Y'all are so negative. What? Oh, mom. Oh, is it this guy here? Okay, all right.
Yeah.
All right. Calm down.
Yeah,
Calm down.
you better watch out because Trendy Bendy is submitting a claim against both of you.
Uh-oh. Hello, Commodore fans on. Can you give us 3 distro options for Linux noobs in the chat? My number 1 is generally Linux Mint. If I have a case where something won't support it or it's in much older software, my number 2 is going to be MX Linux. Because I don't know what type of black magic Run with the Dolphin does, but he seems to get everything to work on that. Yeah, like in every platform. It's weird. Like I actually have my Lenovo that I use for writing. My writing computer actually has the dreaded Broadcom wireless chip, and that thing spots it and works just fine. Every printer I've ever thrown at that thing works just out of the box. I'm like, how did you do this? So MX Linux is really good. I like the Cinnamon desktop and some of the other features. The Linux Mint a little bit better, which is why I steer towards that. And as far as a good third, I don't know. Let's move out of this whole world. I'm actually going to go. This might be this might cause a little bit of backlash here. I have actually had very good luck with Manjaro. So if you want to run something closer to the Arch world, of course, Manjaro is Arch delayed a little bit. But I generally like that one more than like a Fedora because out of the box, Manjaro has everything that you need. Whereas Fedora, you still do have to do a few extra steps here and there that may not be intuitive. Also, Manjaro has a lot more desktop environment options out of the box. Whereas Fedora really tends to focus on that GNOME, and there's a few other ones that you can do. But for the most part, you're looking at GNOME, and I just don't like GNOME. It's just a personal preference. Younger people tend to like GNOME a lot more. I'm an old fogey, stuck in my ways. I want the system that looks just like the first computer I had back in the early 90s or the mid 90s Windows. And so, hey, I like Cinnamon personally. That's kind of my 3. I'm going to go with Manjaro, MX Linux, and Linux Mint. You guys have any thoughts? I can give you guys your thoughts as well. Of course, Salbu's only ever run Plasma, and what distro?
Yeah, I don't think I have I even tested GNOME or Cinnamon on my own gear. I have used it when testing for other people, but not for myself.
Yep. Okay.
I'm on the old people who find something that works and stick to it. So.
Yep. There you go. Ivan, do you have any suggestions?
Well, 10 years ago when I got into the whole thing about using Linux in particular, I found Linux Mint, and I was very much a Windows 7 kind of person at the time, and it was like the closest match I could see. And I just locked onto it just by nature, and I haven't turned back ever since. I've looked at a couple others. I used Zorin to host a Minecraft server for a short period of time. But I've been more than happy with Linux Mint. And in the past 2 years, Debian Edition specifically, which is on my 2 screens in this machine. And the Windows drive on here is separated off. And when I saw that video about the local accounts going away, I'm like, I'm going to take a look at this. Not just for clicks.
And so as we clarified in that video, they're not removing your local accounts, but they're removing the references to the local accounts in the documentation. That's the first step they're going to do to kill them.
Right. Yeah, I totally expect the settings application to be affected at 2042.
And despite still I'm hearing mixed results. Some people are saying the Shift F10 no longer works to bypass the local account setup, but I don't. But other people have said that still works. So I don't know what to believe on that. It still worked the last time I set up a Windows 11 computer a couple months ago, but there's been a lot of crazy updates since then. Lewis asks, is OpenShot better than Kdenlive? So probably the first 5 or so videos I did on the channel way back when I had really bad hair and didn't know how to run YouTube were done with OpenShot. How dare you, Ivan, for putting one of those in the chat the other day.
I was going to say, don't reference what I said the other day.
Yeah, but the first ones were. But at that time when I did those, OpenShot was much more like a Windows Movie Maker. And then they released this massive version. That must have been when 2 came out. They released this massive version, which just completely changed everything. And at that, I'm like, okay, I know that Kdenlive is more powerful. And if I have to relearn OpenShot, I'm just going to go ahead and relearn Kdenlive. And so that's what I did. So I haven't used OpenShot in production for a better part of 5 or 6 years now. But it is getting better, and I want to keep an eye on that. Let me that. Okay, there you go. Sorry about that. I think Mark came on and just decided to do something with a keyboard. Some giant cat jumped across. All right. Hello, V. Thomas. Greetings, Chris. Let's see. Okay, if you have not used Manjaro in the past year, give it another go. Absolutely, yeah. Manjaro is getting better. Fresh Vintage has jumped on. He has Linux Mint. I think we gave you LMDE, right? Fresh Vintage. I installed that. I can't remember if we put Linux Mint or LMDE. I think we did LMDE on that one. I was going to do LMDE on my friend's computer here where he runs a media server locally. And for whatever reason, it would not take LMDE. I think it was something weird in their BIOS. And so I was like, let's just go with the regular Ubuntu Linux Mint. And that worked just fine. Could have been we were installing it off of Eventoy as well. I don't know. Endeavor has won me over. Install Pamuk and you get a rolling release Manjaro. Yeah, my Pamuk always gave me issues, so I just undid it because I never really used it anyway. It's like, I just use the terminal now. I'm becoming one with the Linux world because it's like I prefer just using the terminal even if there's a software manager there.
That's what Endeavor will do for you.
Yeah.
They'll kind of break away that dependence on the Pamuk because I love Pamuk Manager. And after a little while, I'm like, I can do without it. I know what I need to know with Pacman commands in the terminal. I said, I don't hate them for it because you can you do what you need.
Yeah, and it's not all that easy to install Pamuk either. And I was having issues with some AUR applications, so I just ran the code to completely banish everything AUR from my hard system. I know it's a little blasphemous to some of you guys, but it's like, you know what? I'm having issues here. Let's just nuke it all. And I found there was really only one application from the AUR that I actually used regularly, and that was Simple Screen Recorder. So
I will say, as far as applications, I'll throw in there. I don't know how late we're into it, but
we're going through comments, and I'm trying to get through some of them. So
okay.
So completely agree about no. Makes the screen look like a giant tablet. Yeah. OpenBSD. Yeah. There you go. Let's see. Sorry, I read the last word. Wait, I read that last word as toilet. What? Razzie, are you okay there? GNOME traditional layout uses a taskbar layout. Yep. That's Tails puts that in for some people. Let's see. Don't have any issues with shortcut. There you go. Hoover vacuum. There you go. Sorry, Commodore fan. We hurt your ears.
Yeah, I'm sorry. That I'm trying to get better with that. It just is not.
So here's what you can do is go into Jitsi, and when you're entering the thing to go in, you always have to confirm to go in. Start by just muting your microphone.
That's what I want to do. That's what I'm looking at.
Yeah, and that way you can take care of everything and slide things across the desk and all that kind of stuff.
Because it's sitting over
and then you can unmute yourself when you're set up. So that's what I always do. That's
what I do in Zoom. And, sometimes I'll set it in Jitsi and then it just doesn't.
Of course, whoever that lazy developer is who has that Jitsi instance, though, could just toggle the options to make sure everybody comes in muted. But
talk while
that would require me to do work. So.
Yeah, I don't need to play a sound if it talks while muted. That's not necessary.
Yeah. We're using my private Jitsi server, so
Yeah.
I think I can set that up when I create the room though too. Maybe I just need to do that. Maybe I need to set it all up. We'll have a whole room. You gotta knock to enter. Enter the password, please. Yeah. Anyway,
you mentioned just a moment ago about something that sucked or something to that effect. It reminds me, I haven't seen it yet, but yesterday Louis Wassman came out with a new video about a manufacturer of a vacuum cleaner, which doesn't suck.
Correct. Yeah, and that's just the paradox of vacuum cleaners. If it's broken, it doesn't suck. This is the perpetual machine engine. Yeah, that's the Shark vacuums. Good Music says, I don't have enough Unix beard, Mr. Babyface. Do I have to grow the beard out again? You got to just go back and look at, dude, I can have a full-fledged beard in a month, dude.
Yeah, I can.
I am a hairy dude.
Yeah, in a couple of days, I'm going to the hairdresser, and they also do the shavings or the trimming. So
are you going to shave it all off or just make it look pretty or what?
Yeah,
my dad was real happy.
and I can collect it and send it to you so you can have a fake.
No, I don't need you to send me your beard. I can grow my own. Do I use OBS for streaming? Yes, we are using OBS for streaming. All right. Yeah. I didn't notice anything weird about the early audio stuff. We're gonna pause there. I know we didn't hit Rumble or Odyssey yet. We are co-streaming YouTube, Odyssey, Rumble, Twitch, and D Live. I'll make the decision in July or August if we want to add X to that list or not. I think I'd have to pay for that, but that's okay. I pay Rumble to stream over there, so it might be worth it. Of course, super chats are enabled everywhere, including Odyssey. Rumble, though, right now is, for the rest of the year, 100% of your Rumble rants go directly to the creator. YouTube still siphons 30% off it. Thinks it's the United States government, but... So let's go ahead and chat about some excellent software in Linux, if we can. And I wanted to start in, I'll do a couple applications. I'm going to do the 3 Office applications here, and then I'm going to punt to you guys, and I'll come back in when you guys give some thoughts. So, of course, if you're switching over to Linux and you're looking for Office software, of course. I was the guy, I confessed this before, I'll confess again so that you guys know. I was a noob at Linux at one point in time, and the first thing I tried to do is install my 2007 Microsoft Office to Linux. Yeah, I did. I tried.
I'm not saying
why.
And the problem we have with that is there are so many excellent Office suites for Linux already that are actually better than Microsoft Office. And actually up to date and secure because, that one was 11 years old by the time I was switching to Linux. And so it's just and I hadn't updated any of it in years.
There are some very good ones.
So we're gonna feature some of the ones. First, my absolutely go-to is LibreOffice. And with LibreOffice, you have the full suite. You have the full writer document, Excel sheets, spreadsheets. We have PowerPoints. We have databasing. We have the drawing tools, and we have math tools as well. So there's a number of different things that we can do inside of LibreOffice. Now, I also use it because I write books, and I use this also, LibreOffice, to format the books to go directly to the printers for full distribution. I don't even have to mess with that InDesign crap that most of the industry does, putting all your books inside of InDesign. Everything that I do is inside of LibreOffice. You also can hook it up with a Nextcloud instance and have an online Office documents as well. So LibreOffice is definitely my go-to. Now, the other ones that there are a few other ones there. SoftMaker has FreeOffice. Of course, this caused a little bit of a debate because Manjaro tried to remove LibreOffice and throw SoftMaker. But if I remember correctly, are there not some proprietary elements of it, or there's something of it that is not as free as LibreOffice? Do you know about that, Salbu? I can't remember if this was the Office suite or not.
Which one?
SoftMaker's FreeOffice.
I have never heard of this.
Yeah. So it's the one Manjaro tried to cram it in there. It caused a massive upheaval. And now that's why Manjaro, when you install it, you can choose no Office Suite, LibreOffice, or FreeOffice. I think it had like a EULA or something in it. But this is a decent offline-only application. It tries to mimic the look and the appearance of Microsoft Office. You can see all the ribbon layouts, and that's what LibreOffice doesn't have by default. You can turn it on. I've never liked the ribbon layout, so I don't bother with that. But FreeOffice has just had a big update, and this gives you, this is actually a new option to use the modern ribbons or the classic toolbars. I'm not sure which one was default. It's not one I use on a regular basis. We have menus are accessible in the ribbon user interface. That's actually novel. That's useful. Touch mode options for larger icons and increased padding. There's PDF options. They've actually added a few other things to make this one a little bit better for this year. OnlyOffice also just released a new version. So OnlyOffice, their biggest feature in 8.1 is a full PDF editor. Of course, PDFs are not generally designed to be edited, but depending on how well the PDF was put together in the first place, you might be able to edit it with this. I have really good luck on LibreOffice with their drawing application. This one here gives you the ability to create live active PDFs and things. And OnlyOffice does also have a cloud connected system with accounts through them or also integrating with your Nextcloud. But you have the option to run these as well. These ones do take a first approach for the DocX formats, the modern XML formatted Microsoft Office documents, rather than the open document types. That was one of my points of criticism in the past, is that they don't generally focus the free and open source document type as well as they should. But with that being said, there are some reasons people want to use OnlyOffice, so you might look into that one as well. I haven't examined FreeOffice quite as much, but LibreOffice is my go-to, and it has never let me down, and it does everything that I need to do, and it's extremely robust in its functions. So for Office software suites, you can also, if you are interfacing with people that use Microsoft Office, you can set LibreOffice to use the docx file formats by default. Of course, OnlyOffice does that by default, and SoftMaker, I'm not totally sure which one that one goes with. But that's kind of my take on Office software. Anybody want to jump in? Sabu, go ahead first.
Yeah, so I checked out the SoftMaker website, and when you go to the download and the applications page, it says point blank that it's free for trial for the first 30 days, and after that you need to buy the software.
Okay, so
it's effectively released as a shareware, and after the trial period, you need to decide to buy it or choose something else.
Yeah, which is really hilarious because the opening to the OMG Ubuntu article says FreeOffice 2024 is free, as in beer version based on SoftMaker Office. So there's SoftMaker Office and there's FreeOffice. Did you look at SoftMaker or free?
Yeah, SoftMaker.
Okay, I think the FreeOffice is a version based on SoftMaker.
Yeah, that's
I don't know. What do I know? I use LibreOffice, guys. I was just pointing it out because people were asking about applications. We're talking about it, and this showed up in the Linux news. So, you know. But I think the FreeOffice, there's still a controversy about the FreeOffice, though. I don't know. It was weird, and that was a long time ago, and 15,000 other issues showed up in the Linux world since then. But you know,
there is an Office application that I actually miss every now and again, because when I started using Linux seriously in 2001 or thereabouts, so I used KDE, obviously, and the Office suite for Mandrake, which was the name at the time, Mandrake Linux. The default Office application was K-Office, which was made by the KDE project. And it was made between, so the initial release was in 2000 and the final release was in 2011. So it's no longer being developed, maybe by the Trinity project. And it was it was fast and easy to use, and it was lightweight, as I remember it. So it was the first Office program that I used on Linux from maybe 4 years.
Okay, so here's the free Office. So yeah, so they took the SoftMaker and made the free version of it. So this one is free. They say it is free for personal and business use. Try it out, you'll know for sure. Free download. And then here you can choose. We have RPM package, a deb package, and they have your basic systems. We do have a EULA. The EULA might have been what the controversy was in Manjaro. So let's have a brief look at that. May install and use one copy of the software on up to 3 computers as long as they belong to the same family household. So I can't use it. I got like 10 computers floating around here. Make a reasonable number of backup copies. Transfer the use of rights to the software. You may not make copies of the accompanying documentation. Sublicense, rent, or lease any portion, or reverse engineer, decompile, disassemble, modify, translate, make any attempt to discover the source code of the software or to create. So it is not an open source. It is simply free to use. So that would lead me to believe this seems to be a proprietary. And it does, in fact, say that, yes, this is this is owned also by SoftMaker as well. Okay, so I was correct.
We can't recommend that because that's not, this is about open source, not for this video.
Yeah, so back in the 1990s and early 2000s, we called the software makers at the time, when they released something for free without the source code, we called it was a proprietary, but we called it freeware.
Yeah.
Which is different. Freeware is different
freeware
than open source.
And I remember how to get around some of the shareware stuff too. There was a really, really cool music or a wave file editor that was amazing back in the 90s that I used to use, and their shareware version allowed to use like 2 of the 6 packets of functions at a time. So I would just get what I need, save the file, close it down, reboot the application with selecting different ones. So it was a really, really fun one. Then they did I think that was a 95 version. They did a 96 version, which sucked. So I kept the 95 version around. So they figured out how to make it not as easy to get around. Those bozos. Hey, I was a high school student. What can I say? All right. So, and you guys have any other options for any other options for software that you want to talk about before we get into? I think I want to get in a couple more comments before we jump into another group.
Yeah. So I am one of the few who actually still, on occasion, burn a CD-ROM for various reasons, and the one that I use is something called the K3B, which is excellent. And it so if you want to burn an audio CD for use in an old-fashioned car stereo with a CD player, it automatically converts it to the waveform that the CD player can understand.
Yep. Very good. Let's see.
I'd recommend, if you're looking for something lighter weight, the LibreOffice is a little heavy. It's nowhere near as heavy as like something like Microsoft Office and Windows would be, although Windows gotten better at being lighter. But LibreOffice is a little heavy. Calligraphy and AB Suite, I think they probably have Word and spreadsheet. If you're just needing very simple functionality, just a basic spreadsheet, Word document, there's ABI, and then there's Calligraphy Suite as well.
Yep. Yeah, those are good options.
Yeah.
I'm gonna jump in. I want to jump in on a couple of extra comments here for a little bit, and then Ricky's on. Greetings, Ricky. I did see your email about the Storm OS. I will get back to you as soon as I can. It's in a totally crazy week, so. Totally messed up where programs store their data. Used to all be in the My Documents folder. Now you got to hunt for it. It depends on what it is and where it is and things like that. Let's see. Yes, OBS for streaming. Palmach on Arch Endeavor. That's just sacrilege. It doesn't suck. Chancier Rossman has owned it. Yeah. All right. Let's see. Keep the baby face. We need more clean-cut Linux guys to make it look more professional. Sorry, Salvu. Let's see. I don't know. I'm 31. Oh, I'm the last one. And kids apparently think I'm one of them when I'm not. Adobe software is the only thing I miss. How can you miss Adobe software? Like, software abuses you. Best software with MX Linux is a snapshot tool. There's probably there are some applications I think you can use to do snapshots, like depending on which snapshot tool you're talking about. Of course, they have their system restore snapshots, which is time shift in Linux Mint, and I believe they still have a regular backup icon as well. Let's see. Heard Manjaro is having privacy concerns right now. Is Manjaro? I haven't heard that, but I haven't been looking for it either. Can anybody confirm that? Manjaro having privacy issues?
No idea. CCJ comments that the only time Windows gets lighter is when it's uninstalled.
Yeah. Well, I think Windows is pretty light already because they're full of hot air over there.
Yeah.
Honestly, I got on by WordPad for years. Sorry, Microsoft has removed that in the next version.
They learned. Ubuntu did teach them for a while. Remember the whole "I love Linux" thing when Satya Nadella come on? Yeah, I mean, I'm not a Windows fanboy. Don't get me wrong. I use a VM for work. I got everything in a VM, so I don't have to. I boot into Linux every day, like anybody else. I promise. I use Linux. I'll try to do a lot of stuff in Linux, but for work-related tasks, I do have some apps in a VM. Yeah. So I'm sorry.
All right. Just a couple stats right there. We got 57 on Zatubis. We got 28 over on Odyssey, and we got 18 on Rumble. I bet the Rumble crowd might be over there preparing to watch the geriatric circus. Let's look at the Odyssey comments here real quick. Got some dog and pony debate. Yep. Let's see. Catching a live stream without being bogged down on work. All right. Prefer Garuda Arch. Yeah, Garuda's. I might look at Garuda if I had to jump off of Endeavor. Endeavor does have its share of problems. One of the things they can't figure out is when you update most Arch systems, it updates the Arch keyring, and Endeavor hasn't figured out how to do that. You have to update the keyring manually, and then you really. So OBS Studio, Kdenlive, Audacity, MPV, LibreOffice are all excellent software. Yep. I throw in my favorite friend Cody, the person, not the software. YouTube, to be clear, the person, not the software. You know. And I was trying to compile a list of things I use on a regular basis. So we'll go ahead and do some of that. Let's see. Tom the Noob. That's right. Never used FreeOffice. Never heard of FreeOffice. Only use OnlyOffice in case I need to show somebody open source alternatives. They're very fresh and modern. All right. Odor is a professional multi-track audio studio. Yeah, Odor and LMMS. If you are into music production and you are looking for something like that. What's the Apple version of that? I forget.
That is something that I plan on getting into because I do have. Do
you remember what the popular Apple version is, where people use to create music? I only have one friend that can tell me off the top of my head, but he doesn't do text messaging.
Bitwig Studio, LMMS.
No, yeah. Well, in Linux, Ardor and LMMS are the two big ones.
Yeah. And then there's in another operating, I think it's Mac that does Reaper. And then there's Logic Pro, but those are proprietary, of course.
Yeah.
Actually,
GarageBand.
Reaper,
Thank you. Yeah, Dan Mac. GarageBand is the one people use on Apple.
And there is also something called Logic Pro for Mac.
Yeah, those two, GarageBand and Logic Pro. Ardor and LMMS are two really good options for Linux. Yeah, if you're just editing stereo audio, you don't want to use that. You want to use Audacity for those. which did have a little bit of a privacy snafu a couple years ago, but they actually reversed that whole nonsense. They're like, oh, we can't buy a bunch of the best open source software and all of a sudden exploit it because they'll just fork it and recreate it under a different name. So okay, we'll just stick with what we got. So that is certainly an option there.
Music runs heavily in my family. My dad sung in the choir for years. Well, led the choir and sung in the choir.
Yeah, as far as like listening to music, let's go and chat about that real quick. My preferred. Great. Now, my favorite one absolutely was Banshee, which unfortunately died. So I'm sad about that. So I find a decent alternative now is Lollipop.
Lollipop.
So
good.
that one's really good.
Clementine.
It'll set things up. Clementine is pretty good as well. There's a number of other ones out there. There's Rhythm Box. I'm not a huge fan of Rhythm Box.
I think
just because I like the pretty pictures and icons and things like that. Rhythm Box doesn't give you that. But Lollipop is definitely one that you could look at. It does a really good job of sorting your music and things like that. Of course, Clementine does. There's the other one. It's got Strawberry, maybe, which is based on Clementine.
Yeah, Strawberry is probably not that great. It's like a knockoff of Clementine. I've heard Strawberry isn't that great, and I've tried to use it deep in the past. It may have gotten better now, but Quoid Libre, how do you say that? Quoid Libre. It's like French or something. If you're looking for a way to archive large amounts of music, which I've kind of been wanting to do for years, and I don't have a DVD drive in this system, but it'll store a lot of music that you rip to the computer. So like if you have a large library of like old songs that you like, or even new stuff.
But music. Somebody did ask. Oh, go ahead, Sully.
Yeah, so the music player application that I use almost always is called Audacious. It's so it's the default skin. I don't care much for. So there's an option in the settings somewhere to use to mimic the old Winamp layout, and then I use
dead beat for a very simple media player.
And then I use. I have kept one of the old Winamp skins, which is the LCARS Star Trek computer layout for my player, and that's the one I use for playing audio. As for playing a video, I'm using a terminal-based M player. I've done this for almost 20 years, and I see no reason to change.
For video players, I'd say celluloid and then VLC, depending on how light you want to go and how minimalist. Celluloid is really good for super lightweight video player.
Yeah, that's usually what I do, just a single one-off file. So, I'll keep some files there, just play them with that, which works fine. VLC, I keep VLC around for some of the extra features it has, although it's not my go-to to actually regularly consume music because it's too heavy, it's too bulky, there's too much crap in it.
Agreed.
But if I need something about that file, or I need to do a conversion, or I need to connect to a network share, VLC is certainly a go-to for that type of stuff. So the point is here with the music and the videos and stuff, for consuming media entertainment, Linux is absolutely top notch.
It's outstanding.
So people are like asking in the comments, how's it for this? It's fine.
Oh yeah, I mean it does great. Honestly, it's and video editing is getting better because I'd say all of it is pretty good. But I would say for like a DAW. Digital audio workstation that's free and open. No, it's not open source. Never mind. I'd have to recommend Audacity. They cleaned up their issues. If you're looking for non-open source, I'd say Open Audio. But
Salbu, what's up?
I just saw a comment the question in the YouTube comments by Lou Agado. Yes, it is the Audacious, which is the player that mimics the old Winamp layout, but you need to configure it to mimic the old Winamp layout because it doesn't by default.
Okay, yeah.
And all the same commands that Winamp used to have. It's mostly the same in this one. So if you have the old Winamp keyboard commands in your fingers, you will feel right at home.
Yep. Let's see. Over on Rumble, we just have a couple people over here. Are we voting? Not over there. We got a little poll going up on YouTube to see is America doomed? You know.
Yeah, I turned that off.
I'm not asking anybody who they're voting for. Nah.
Yeah. Okay. Vote for me. I will leave you alone.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. Nero Burn. There you go. There's a number of good burning software on Linux that is pretty good.
Yeah.
And always has a bit always finds their way back to Ubuntu. All right, let's check out these. Let's hit the end poll. I've never done a poll before. Where's our poll at? There you go. America's doomed. 67% of you think America is doomed, and 32% say it's not, and there's 73 votes. So, you guys that don't think it's doomed, man, what are you thinking?
What's wrong with you people?
We just did that for fun because somebody asked if we're voting. So you had to vote for something. I should have put one up. It was like, vote. Should we vote for something? Yes or no?
I still remember there was a local election somewhere in within a city or in a county. I don't remember. Where it was between two people who were opposed each other quite strongly, and they had at least publicly.
I don't think we're completely doomed just yet.
It had the appearance that they were. It had the appearance that they were enemies, at least publicly, and then one of them died, and so rather than putting up a new person for the one of the parties, they had a tree or something like that instead of the dead guy, and the tree won.
There you go. Kitty would like to say a couple words. Want to read a couple comments there, Kitty? Let's see.
Kitty.
I use VLC since Windows 7. It's an amazing program. I run Steam on Mint, and I have no problems as long as I have the resources. VLC is the most trouble-free thing on earth.
Yeah, Kitty. All right, he can read. Isn't that awesome? I have a reading cat. All right. My music player is called YouTube. All right.
Yeah, that is actually a good.
Hold on. This was on my list of things to talk about. So, is there any new Bible software for Linux that you know of? We could still have Bible Time and Xiphos. So, I don't know of anything new. Bible Time and Xiphos are the two big sword module based systems. Now, one of the things I've been playing with the sword module systems lately is reading plans and things like that, because I like the chronological Bibles, and I just finished reading the 1 year Bible from Tyndale, and in the New King James, and then we were having a discussion in the live show, the Friday night live show last week, about the WEB translation. So since that's public domain, I downloaded that. Now I did that on the phone. So I downloaded that, and then I simply found a reading plan in the software allowing me to basically read the Bible in 1 year chronologically using any translation that I wanted. And so if you get into some of the software, as far as me personally, I prefer Bible Time over Xiphos. I think it's a much better study tool. Things work a little bit better. You can easily configure it so you can hover over a word and see what the Greek word is and things like that. You can have multiple layouts. Xiphos is a little bit better at a couple minor things, but I generally just install Bible Time. Both of these use the sword module system, so anywhere you can get a sword module, you can plug it in and work with it. There's probably a few other ones here and there that are specific to translation, so it wouldn't surprise me if there's a King James Version exclusive Linux app somewhere. I haven't looked for it, but that is certainly an option. But yeah, I don't know of anything new. Does anybody know of anything else new?
I don't.
No, I just want to say, the Strong's Concordance and knowing the Greek translation and stuff, That is so underrated, and I wish more pastors would.
So
dig
just
into
doing
this.
a quick app search here on Linux Mint.
It's really
There is a Bible-KGV app, so apparently that's going to be a Bible a Bible specifically focused on that as a standalone application. There's a Bible. Is it Bible Edit or Bible Dit or Bible Edit? Bible DIT, which says it's a Bible editor. I cannot think of anything more blasphemous, but you know. And then we have a Bible editor cloud system. There's Bible Time is in there, and there is there's a Bible Sync Dev multicast protocol to support Bible CoNav. No idea what that is. That's what I just found on a quick app search. So yeah, not really. I don't know of anything else. So you're stuck with those ones. But honestly, Bible Time is really good. So I don't see a reason to jump off of it anytime soon.
Yeah, so I remember when I still used Windows 98. I used it up until 2001 or thereabouts. There was in Norway. There was one of the Bibles that were available for the Windows. When you install it, it was the format of the software was a Windows help file. And it functions like any other help tool. So you could either find it in the start menu, or you could browse through the help system of Windows, and eventually you would find this one specific Bible translation. I thought that was funny at the time.
Yeah. Let's see. Kitty wants all the computer mice to be open source and yummy. That's right. Kitty does. Berean Standard Bible is a great public domain translation. Berean Standard. I've not seen the Berean Standard. I'll have to see if I can do that one. So far the WEB it's just a good modern English translation. It's kind of neat. Why is the GNOME site planned for retirement? Still on the lollipop thing there. All right. Let's see. Bible editor. I'm not sure. Yeah. Is the in the IRC the audio there is public domain too? Listen to somebody read pure King James at times makes me think I'm listening to something in Japanese.
That reminds me. I have two audio Bibles, one in English and one in Norwegian. The Norwegian one is only the New Testament, and both is in the same type of. They're made by two different groups. One of them is the Norwegian state broadcaster NRK, the Norwegian Broadcasting Corporation.
Yeah.
In 2001, they released as a radio drama the New Testament. So in the Gospels, when Jesus and his disciples are at the courtyard outside the temple and talking, you hear the life around you as if you are present and listening to them. And the English version that I have is the same, only it has the full Bible from Genesis to Revelation. Listening to the parts of the Bible which happens in the real world, and not just a letter that someone has written. There is a few nuances that that you hear, that you notice that you didn't when you're just reading it. That was quite interesting.
Yeah. I'll just answer this one really, really quick without a lot of explanation. Am I a King James only guy? No. And for very good reasons. I have a Christian channel called Our Walk in Christ. You can check that out. Search for KJV and I'll tell you why over there. I don't hate the King James. There's reasons to look at some of the modern ones. This is a better question for this group here, though. What desktop environment do you guys prefer? I generally prefer Cinnamon. That's my preference. What do you guys say?
I have to go with Cinnamon myself. Yeah.
Okay, so Ivan goes Cinnamon. Sabu?
And the question was, I was distracted for a moment.
What desktop environment do you guys prefer? I mean, I can answer for you, but
I'm using KDE Plasma.
KDE Plasma. And Mark, what's your preferred desktop environment?
Cinnamon, Budgie, Mate, KDE Plasma. If it was more stable,
dude, that's every Linux desktop. That's every desktop. Which one's your favorite?
Really, I mean, I like a lot of different ones, but my two favorites are, if I had to pick two, I'm sorry, Budgie, but you barely lose to Mate and Cinnamon for me.
Yeah.
Cinnamon
and
Mate and
Budgie
Cinnamon.
comes
Okay.
in close third.
All right.
Yeah, and I'm with Mark. I'm with Mark. I also pronounce it as Mate.
Yeah. It's
Mate. Yeah, I do too. Yeah.
What up,
Mate? Yeah.
Because I'm not Argentinian, so
yeah. So all right. Let's see. Last one I had on my specific. Let's talk about code development type stuff. There are a lot of applications. I generally prefer Bluefish Editor because it's effectively a text editor with a lot of code hints put in. You tell it which language you're using on the document, and you start typing something, and it gives you all of the possible options and things like that around it. And so I really like Bluefish Editor for that. It's not a massive application that requires a ton of stuff, but it works very functionally well. You can select between, dozens and dozens of different types of applications you're working with, and it plugs them all in perfectly. So Bluefish is there. Now, if you're a person who uses like VS Code, which is the Microsoft proprietary type stuff, be aware that VS Code is actually just a proprietary blob of the open source VS Codium, which is available for download on Linux. So I actually have it installed on a couple of my computers just for simple testing purposes. But for the most part, I have found it just to be overkill, and too many other things going on just gets in my way of my workflow. So I generally prefer using Bluefish. Now, of course, if you're interfacing a lot with Git repositories, VS Codium will manage that a little bit better than Bluefish will, to my knowledge. But that's my thought.
The fun part is that Bluefish is also an encryption algorithm.
Mm-hmm. Indeed. Bluefish or Blowfish? Is that Blowfish?
I actually don't remember.
Yeah, it's Blowfish. Blowfish is the encryption algorithm. Yeah. Bluefish is the software application which I use. So it is multi-platform: Linux, Mac, Windows, FreeBSD, OpenBSD. Of course, I used on Windows, of course, since I was the stud with the full paid for Adobe software. I used Dreamweaver over there. And yes, I tried to get that installed, and then I found Bluefish was better.
And I also remember from 98 to the summer of 2000, I used to hang out on an RC server network, which has been dead for a few years now. It was called the Web Chat at the time. And one of the people I used to chat in a room called Jesus Loves Me in that network. And one of the users in that chat room was called Bluefin.
Yeah.
So if you're out there, hello.
Yeah. So let's see. Yeah, there's sorry, people are asking, we can't vote on Rumble. No, there's no votes on Rumble that I have seen. Yeah. That I know of anyway. Chronological Bible jumps around books and verses. Yes, it basically puts it in the chronology of the order of the story. So, and depending on which version of the chronology you're doing, so the one I just did, which is on the And Bible app on Android, on F-Droid, that one puts Job exactly where I expect it to be, usually right after Genesis 11 or 10, or actually 11. So, yeah, I got up to Genesis 11. I read the whole book of Job, and then I got back to Genesis. And then it's going to jump around a little bit between Kings and Chronicles and things like that. Linux games. Our resident gamer's not here. I don't play games. What do you got? Anybody here play Linux games? Can talk about Linux games?
I do every now and again. And there is in my daily gaming, I don't do much gaming. So there's 2 daily games that I play. It's Cabal, I call it, and Mahjong. It's a KDA package. Those are the ones that I use heavily. But when I want to play actual old-fashioned games, there is 2 games that I go back to. One is Open XCOM, where you need the old XCOM games from the 1990s because you need the data files. There are ways to find it, and you can figure it out for yourself where to go. And the other one is UFO Alien Invasion, where the project name is UFO AI. And it's a fully open source re-implementation of the old XCOM game. And the later is been slow developed the last few years, but there's still development. The IRC chat room for this project is active every now and again. We're talking about what to do and what's next and so on.
As far as gaming applications, I mean, anything you can run on Windows now about it through Steam and Proton, Lutris. Play on Linux. There's ways to get Windows games running on Linux now pretty well. So pretty easily.
Somebody asked about chess. Where was that chess one at?
And for those who want a free software version of Super Mario, there is the Super Tux. Is Linux implemented lookalike of Super Mario 2, which is in all the repositories in almost every distribution. So,
there you go. Musical Neptunian. I play chess. If Linux has anything for that. Again, a quick sudo apt search. We have 3D chess. Play chess across 3 boards. We have Brutal Chess, 3D chess game with the reflection of the chess. Does that go longer? Of the chess. We have chess.app, chess for GNU step ported with OpenStep. We have a ChessX database. Dream Chess
tonight.
So 3D chess game. Ethereal Chess. We have Games Chess, GNOME Chess, GNU Chess book. Okay.
Yeah. I think the GNU Chess is a terminal-only application.
Yeah,
but there is a lot of front ends for it. So
Yep. So
I'm more of a Texas Hold'em. I hadn't done that in forever.
There you go.
I put a few dollars down.
Yes. So Brutal Chess sounds good. There you go. Maybe I should review some of these chess games. There you go.
Yeah.
We got Hera Zealot over there on a Rumble. Greetings.
And there is also one game that maybe once a year or something
nice,
like that. The first silent running submarine game. It was an MS-DOS game, and it works excellent in DOSBox with the sounds and everything. And if you still have the mods for it, they all still work. It's a very old-fashioned graphics, but it's still fun.
Yeah,
I must say the new Linux Mint, Linux Mint has really improved their look of their. It's real clean looking. I like it minimalist.
Yeah, and we are expected to see the beta for Linux Mint 22 coming up here in the end of July. So we're a little bit about. Ben's here from Storm OS. Greetings. How's it going? Someone needs to make Project 64 work on Linux. All right. Hera Zealot is a gamer and dual boots Linux and Windows XP. So.
Interesting choice. There's emulators too. There's the Dolphin emulator that I think.
So our overall point in this one today is there's just a lot of software you can hunt around online. Of course, just a warning if you're new to Linux, you can search the internet for things you're looking for on Linux, but as an advisable thing, don't install anything for Linux online unless it's your only option, and then be really careful. You might be like somebody just brings up chess. I don't know if there's chess available. I assume there is, but so I just did a quick search for it in the terminal, which is fast enough for me to do without interfering with the stream here. Of course, I could just as easily pull up the software manager here in Linux Mint, and we could do stuff like that. So let me jump on over that. Of course, this computer is not updated a lot intentionally, so let me just do a quick search for chess up here. Now, if you're using the onboard software tool, then anything in here is safe to install. Here's chess graphical user interface for several chess. Here's your dream chess. Here's your brutal chess. So there you go. I mean, that's what that looks like. That looks kind of fun. I don't know. I used to play some chess games. I might do that from time to time. You got that one as well. There's Gnome Chess, which is a simple chess game. Here's Chess X. That's just a database of chess. I'm guessing a database of old chess games, I guess. X Windows System chessboard. There you go. So you have a lot of options over here. That's a flat pack for a basic chess game. And let's see.
Oh, I like the I'm seeing the delayed video. The Chess X looked nice.
Chess X?
It looks like it looked like it had a chat option.
Yeah, yeah, it does. Yeah, it's game text. It's giving you all the game text and things like that.
Yeah,
so.
Because in chess there is customary to write down your moves and your opponent's moves.
Yeah. Of all of at least the pictures, I would be most inclined to play brutal chess because I just really like the aesthetics of that. That looks really nice. So I don't know. Maybe I will install some of these on future videos. I will be coming up with some easier to do videos here soon as we are moving into it. Good time to mention the schedule moving forth. We're coming up on camp season, so next week will be next week, of course, 4th of July on Thursday. So we will not do this show on Thursday, although I'm thinking we might move it to Wednesday. Let me know if you guys are available. The week after that, I will be at camp. We will not be here at all, so the Banhammer's going to just work, and I won't have anything to say about it. So I will be off in the woods somewhere. I'll check in a little bit here and there. And then the following week is the Writers' Conference. So I will probably get some work done at the Writers' Conference, but we'll probably be on a reduced video schedule. There will be a weekly news roundup this week, tomorrow. There will be a weekly news roundup next week. That's the 5th. There will not be a weekly news roundup on the 12th. And there should be one on the 19th. Most likely there will be. I do not know if there's going to be a Thursday show on the 18th. Of course, there will be no Thursday stream at all, 8th to 12th. So just be aware of those. Tom will become Slenderman in the woods. Watch out for him. I'll be Slenderman in the woods with a bunch of kids. Yes. Where's my suit tie? Yeah, so this is that time of the year I take a couple of times off, but I do actually have a number of easier to do. I'm gonna just upload a few videos that are really easy to do, just get some stuff out there for you guys. But and I will check in on the comments as much as I can. I'm also teaching at camp this year, so I do not know how much spare time I'm going to have. A lot of it's going to depend on how well do I get everything worked out before camp happens. So let's see. And let's see. I think that pretty much covers most of the stuff as well. Let's see. I'm getting installation anxiety again. Uh-oh.
There is a question on Discord, on YouTube. If Tux Kart playing is closer to Mario Kart or CRT, whatever that is.
No idea. I do not think. I'm sorry. Mario Kart was after my time. I am that old.
We are old people, remember. I'm even old enough to remember a world without computers. So, and TV, a world without TV. Yes, I am that old.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm an old fogey, man. Amazing, I'm so hip.
I never thought it, but yeah, you're right, Tom. A lot of these translations that I know and I'm used to are not open source, yet they are not listed in Bible Time as options for Bible translations.
Yeah, wow. Most of your modern ones are copyrighted and not open source. I think of the modern ones, the only one I know of that is right now freely available in the sword modules is the NASB, which consequently is my favorite translation. So I'm very happy about that. Now, for a while, it wasn't. For the while, ESV was in there, but the ESV, they kind of got money hungry, and so they pulled out of the sword project. But I still have my ESV, so I'm happy.
Yeah, when it comes to stuff like that, you probably shouldn't be worried about making money so much as just make enough to keep a roof over your head and get the word out. You know, it's not for making money.
Louis said he'd like to see a tutorial on Audacity. You know, I have some old and outdated tutorials on Audacity. Maybe I should update my Audacity tutorials.
Yeah, and the one just above the Toa says that the games are a huge part of computing, and he is correct. Without games being so popular, the computer development, hardware development wouldn't have happened as fast as it is.
Yeah, I agree gaming is important, although I also have to agree it's not everybody's forte, as it's not mine. I still play Warcraft 3 on Friday nights. Well, I haven't for the last while because I actually did last week because I did successfully migrate my CentOS 7 to Alma Linux with no issues.
Nice.
I took a day off to celebrate. Because that CentOS, of course, is expiring, in 3 days? If you are still running CentOS 7, guys, you got to do something. There is, if you hunt around, if that is you, and you're like, there is an Elevate to Alma Linux, which will convert your CentOS 7 into Alma Linux 8, which is thus supported until 2029, is it?
Yeah, something like that.
So I ran the Elevate to Alma script, and it worked perfectly. So I was like, I was expecting a little bit of a fight. I didn't have to.
I think Rocky Linux also has a similar script doing the much the same.
Yeah. So I went with Alma because it was more supported going from CentOS 7 to Alma to maintain my client's cPanel accounts without having to reinstall cPanel or do anything like that. So that's really what I've been spending my entire weekends on, is upgrading software and preparing for that migration, which I did last weekend. So
I did something similar this week myself. I started on Monday, I think, because the data association that I'm a part of, Norwegian Unix user group, we have a few servers in the University of Oslo, because the university is the biggest member of our association. I think some almost 70 members from the university in a shared, in a common invoice type thing. And we have two. We have all of our servers except two are. We have two BSD servers, and all the rest is Debian and Debian EDU and so on.
Yeah.
And two of them still ran. Debian 10, which goes out of support on Sunday this week. It goes out of support, and the only reason we haven't upgraded it until now was because of Mailman, which is a Python 2 only application.
Yeah, I think one of my servers is still running Debian. Which one's 10? Which code name is 10?
Buster, I think.
Buster.
Yeah.
I might have one running Buster. I might have one. I don't know.
What
to do? No.
So we have been trying. We have been searching every so often about how to migrate to Mailman 3, which is not compatible with Mailman 2, as how you administer it. It's a radical new different approach to managing a mailing list system. And we have been delaying it for as long as possible. But
Yeah.
and so this week I've been I used 3 days just to try to import the old lists into Mailman 3, and the administrative GUI didn't work for some reason, which I've finally made work properly today. So, but after migrating, so we migrated the list, and they started working the command line thing, so the email and so on, and then we upgraded from 10 to 11, and then up to Debian 12. And today I managed to get the last piece of the puzzle working. And we have one left, which also runs Mailman. So,
yeah, I'm actually in a similar boat with one of my pieces of software. Now, we were able to keep it alive through Alma 8, but if there is an experienced Joomla developer, I will have a paid project for you. Reach out to me if you are an experienced Joomla developer. I'm not looking for somebody that's willing to help. I need somebody that knows what they're doing. Because we have a plugin that was abandoned in 3, and we need to make it working and compatible because it's a critical component of one of the things I have running in my backend.
That is.
And so I'm looking to do that. I have a good programmer working on it, but not being as familiar with Joomla, I could use somebody to help him out as well. And we're trying to get that working. So
if this is a paid project, do you have any criteria as to what license they should use so people don't have to pay for this?
The software, we're just going to take the current GitHub, which was abandoned, and it is GPL 3, I believe.
Nice. Okay.
And so there's it being as that we have very little restrictions about what we can do.
Yeah. So then it will be GPL 3 going forward. That's nice to hear.
Yep. And that's fine with me. That's fine with me. I could, if we're super successful and we want to try and turn around and sell it to people who might want it, cool. But I'm okay with throwing a little bit of money in it, keeping it going, and giving it away too. Don't care. Somebody did say, after watching this, going to have to install Linux on the gaming computer. This is over on a Rumble Heterobit. So if you are familiar with Linux at all, you should probably do Arch if you can, because it has had the best development with gaming, being as that SteamOS has been porting a lot into that, and that's what SteamOS is based on. Let's see. Favorite true Linux games by far were Patience and Open Arena. Let's see. I think we've hit the one. Can we confirm my last comment on Odyssey was 37 minutes ago? Can anybody confirm?
Yeah,
that?
by Jim on about the repair.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I guess over on Odyssey, everyone just went away. I guess I don't know. They're still there.
And on Rumble, I don't see a single comment.
Oh no, Rumble's going. Yeah, there's a lot going on Rumble. You might just have to refresh your Rumble page.
Yeah, Hera's been talking about gaming.
Yep. Cashy OS.
On
Minis forum. Okay, there it goes. Steam Linux is first class. Yeah, Steam Linux is good. If I were into gaming, I'd probably get one of them Steam Decks, but I just can't really justify the cost right now. It's just not a game.
Whoa!
Sorry.
That is something else there.
So we have 60 people watching on YouTube.
Yep.
We have 12, I think, watching. 19 on Odyssey.
Yep.
And 29 on Rumble.
Yep, I should. Yep, oh, there it is. So
Yeah.
I was showing 28, but now it's 29 again.
And 1 on Twitch, and less than 5 on DLive. So,
Yeah. Oh, there we go. We got some comments backing in. Dude, Odyssey is better. I want to get a Steam Deck without paying for it. There was actually a Steam Deck at the pawn shop I was at. I just wasn't as versed as to was it a good deal or not. And I was already dropping cash to buy that computer for a friend. So it's like I didn't, it's like, I did though buy the Graphene, the Pixel, which ended up being a good buy because I needed to get it to get a working phone. Although right now the my Razer 2 is working perfectly fine again. I don't know what it was. I rolled into that one town, my Razr phone was not working at all. Like the SIM card wouldn't read at all. Well, I went back to that town a couple weeks ago, plugged the SIM card back in, and it works perfectly. I have no earthly idea what happened that one weekend the SIM card would not work in the Razr 2 phone, but the same SIM card would work in the Pixel. But it forced me to install Graphene OS and play with it. So, you know, and I just haven't gone back to the other one just because, you know, I'm not.
We were talking about games a while ago. There's one game that a friend of mine is very into. So he is an avid board gamer. So one of his favorite games is Axis and Allies. There is a Java version of this, which is called AAA. So if you are into Axis and Allies, that's something you should check out. Yeah. And it's a multiplayer, so they have an online lobby, and there is a big community on this around this game.
Nice. I do want to address a comment over here on Rumble from Hifterbit, and between that and low spec Linux gaming. He says he was going to probably stick with Ubuntu because it was good, and he was given, said don't install the Steam Snap, use the Deb version. He says, I don't know what a snap is, so no problem there. No, that's the problem with Ubuntu. They have forced snap so well that if you install something without explicitly installing the Deb package, you are going to get the snap, and the snap version of Steam is broken. So this is why Ubuntu went for a while, because they started forcing these snaps on people, which at their central core are proprietary, but core elements of the system require it effectively. And so if you install Steam, like he says, from the Software Center, it will install the snap version, and the snap version is messed up. So you do want to use the .deb version of Steam if you're using Ubuntu. That's the warning about Ubuntu right now, is because there's elements that are broken according to traditional ways of running Linux.